It's no surprise that two of the nation's elite reside in the ACC. Number 3 Syracuse hosts number 7 Duke in the Dome. Hello and welcome with my good friend Jenna Like. I'm Brian Klein, happy to be with you. And Jenna, two teams that are towards the top in the nation, top 10 matchup. However, two teams coming from very different backgrounds right now.
Well, I think what stands out is the schedule. Right now, Duke has not really played anyone, hasn't played an ACC team, hasn't faced anyone that was ranked. And Coach Kimmel even said that this was definitely not her strongest out-of-conference schedule start. Syracuse, we know the story, multiple ranked games back-to-back.
And it's the ACC opener for Duke, a strong test today against a strong player in Emily Harris-Chuck, coming off a career day, 9 points against Northwestern.
And after everything that she's been through, she's coming off an ACL injury, and Coach Trainer said, this is the Emily Harris-Chuck that we remember. She had a great game, a bunch of free position opportunities, which is her strong suit.
And Kat Barry might be the best player in the nation leading 41 points.
And she leads a group of grad students who came back for their next year of eligibility, granted because of COVID-19. And she shows that she's the leader. Just look at those stats. 30 goals, 41 points to lead the nation. That's just an incredible start.
Yeah, both players are trouble when they get the ball. The question is, who's going to get it? Maddie Jenner, Caitlin Mishewski. The draw control battle is heated tonight.
And I think this will become super important in that fourth quarter. If Syracuse has a lead, we've seen that is one of the best in the nation.
And Duke going with Sophia LaRose in the back of the net. Senior goalie coming off a borderline off game for her against East Carolina. Allowed 4 goals and only made 1 save. Then again, she wasn't tested that much. And on the Syracuse side, Kimber Hauer is getting her first career start in a Syracuse transfer. And up until now, it's been Delaney Schweitzer starting, with Syracuse splitting time between the two goalies, still trying to figure out who their main backstop is going to be down the stretch. Maddie Jenner, Kate Mishewski in the draw control circle. This is a matchup to look out for all day. And Mishewski draws first blood.
And that was something that Jenner said that she worked super hard. Only a 2-2 split last time they played, but definitely super important to come up on top today.
Syracuse has already played in the ACC. They beat Notre Dame. At the time, they were ranked 17th in the nation, now up to 16th. The Orange have strongest strength of schedule, tied with UNC in the nation. So this is nothing new. Emily Harris-Chuck through the teeth of the defense. Didn't take long. 1-0 Syracuse.
I was interested to see how this game would go. We detailed it earlier that Syracuse has a much tougher schedule than Duke does. So I had a feeling that this would happen. A quick start for Syracuse because they're accustomed to playing these tougher opponents. It might take the Blue Devils a few minutes to get their sea legs.
Oh, we knew that Emily Harris-Chuck is elite, but that is unprecedentedly fast by the senior. And you mentioned she's been through so much. She said that she learned so much just being on the sideline. And Emily Harris-Chuck last season after the torn ACL is spreading her wings in a big way. Jenna, maybe the biggest takeaway from the past 34 seconds is that Mishewski won the first draw, lost the second there. Again, the draw control circle is going to be key. Syracuse was pounded in the draw control circle, especially in the fourth quarter in their last game against Northwestern. They lost that battle 21-14, and it was the first time that they lost the draw control battle all season, the first time in 14 games dating back to last season or more.
And Jill Girardi and the Wildcats won that battle 6-2 in that fourth quarter. So just super important that Syracuse stays consistent in that way. Sometimes they turn to a player like Emma Terrell to help.
UNC responds. It's Eva Greco. Excuse me, that's Duke. UNC rival.
UNC rival yesterday.
With goal number 5 this season. So, back and forth we go, and it's expected to be a high-scoring game between these two teams. Duke has the best offense in the nation at about 22 scores per game, but then again, strength of schedule comes into play there.
So let's see with this draw control what ends up happening, if Syracuse or Duke will have the advantage, because like you said, the more you win in the circle, the more opportunities you get to show off your offense. So Duke again.
This time it's Katie Keller, head of steam, unfettered. Is in need of more.
The roster.
There's another. Abby Landry, the grad senior, makes it 2-1 Duke.
The grad students are the anchor to this Duke team. All of them came back for their next year after COVID took one of their opportunities away. Have started on this team since.
First start. On either roster, and Duke will start with possession off that whistle. Well, Syracuse came into this game, and according to Emma Tyrell, they had a chip on their shoulder after that really tough Northwestern loss. Something to prove here. Their first loss of the season. And so far, it's Duke dictating the pace. Greco has one, can't hit there. It's backed up by Kat Berry.
An interesting choice to switch goalkeepers. The goalkeeper that's starting early in the game, if you're going to go 50-50 split, I would think that you would keep Delaney Schweitzer to be the first one, because at least there's some familiarity there.
3 seconds called against Maddie Baxter. And that was a pivotal call at the end of the Northwestern game that came back to haunt Syracuse. Led to a free position and a pivotal goal for Northwestern's comeback. So now it's a free position for the Blue Devils.
It's a tough
Katie
goal.
DeSimone will take it.
Tough goal to lose on for for Syracuse. Northwestern was going to make that every day.
DeSimone charging in, and a big time save. Kimber Howard stonewalls her. So that's save number 1 for Howard, maybe a monkey off her back. Syracuse quick on the clear. Megan Carney, another player coming off a torn ACL. She's facilitating. Baxter lost it. And Harris Chuck is there to track it down. But that's some nice defense by Duke. And the Duke defense is something to look out for, because the head coach, Kirsten Kimball, says she doesn't really know what plan A or plan B should be, coming in with a certain idea, but the main motif here is that Duke is going to be switching up their defense throughout the day. Megan Tyrell's been quiet. And Syracuse nets it. Natalie Smith has it waved off. The sophomore thought she had her first goal of the season, but the whistle came before. So Smith will take it from the 8. Natalie Smith has it saved. Sophia LaRose makes a great time stop by her ankles.
And that's tough because she played through the whistle. The whistle came later and her shot came after the whistle. So she wasn't able to continue playing, scored, but didn't score, and then in the free position, great stop from LaRose.
Well, Syracuse from the 8, they've actually struggled a little bit this season. 7th in the ACC out of 9 teams in the conference, with a 51% conversion rate. The ACC just added Pittsburgh, so Lacrosse, especially on the women's side, is booming, and Pittsburgh wanted in on the action. And Syracuse has another point-blank look, not to be. And Emma Tyrell comes up empty-handed. Syracuse holds on.
And lacrosse is growing all across the country. LaRose from California. So this is a sport that used to be centralized in the Northeast, but it's really spread out in these past few years.
LaRose describes her playing style as very aggressive, coming out of the crease when she has to. She does there. And Emma Tyrell stepped in. So crease violation, Syracuse loses possession again. And Duke clears quickly. Lexi Schmalz, stopped by the All-American Sarah Cooper.
Here we go. Come on, B. Come on, B.
DeSimone. So Duke sharing it around. That's Maddie McCorkle on the far side. Blue Devils number 7 in the nation came in and had the preseason rank of number 8. That was the best in program history. High expectations for a team like Duke that's been building for the past few years. There's another by Eva Greco. Her second of the day, and Duke is all over Syracuse early.
It was a quick catch and shoot for Greco with no hesitation. She gets the ball and quickly gets it past the Syracuse goalie Howard. So it's now 3 goals that Howard has led up so far early in this period. I'm curious to see when the switch happens. It usually happens at halftime, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
And Eva Greco is still bouncing back from her preseason, off-season injury. But Kirsten Kimmel knows that they have uber depth on that front end of the restraining line. And Eva Greco is a big reason why. So Syracuse won the first draw control, and since then it's been pretty bare for Mashesky.
When I said a couple minutes to get, figuring things out, maybe it was like a couple seconds. Maybe I, gave them didn't give them enough credit, because they've come storming back after the 1-goal deficit with 34 seconds.
And Mashesky jumped early. She might have moved before the ready by the official, and there are certainly some intricate rules when it comes to the draw control procedure. Mashesky probably flinched there. It's tough to see. But either way, that's draw control number 4 for the Blue Devils.
And the last 2 have come on violations, so just errors that should be cleaned up to get an advantage in that situation.
Kat Berry's been quiet, gives it to Callahan, coming off a goal in her own right against East Carolina. How about another? This time it's Veronica Hyman. 4 straight goals for Duke.
This time, there wasn't a Syracuse defender that came over. It was a wide open lane for Heinemann when one-on-one with the goalie, and she's gonna have that advantage because she expects her defenders to be a little quicker getting over to face guard the attacker.
All right, so Syracuse got off to a really hot start. It took them about 30 seconds to get Emily Harris-Chuck in a position to score. She did, but since then, it's been all Duke. What's the message? Put your coaching cap on. What are you relaying from the sideline if you're Kayla Trainer?
The draw controls need to be cleaner. That is where, 4-1 is the draw control deficit. 4-1 is the score deficit right now. So it definitely translates. It's also a game of runs. So let's settle down. And they had a monster third quarter against Northwestern, and that turned the tide when they were, it was a back and forth battle.
Addie Jenner snatches it. Here's Schmalz. That was an unbelievable performance by Jenner off that whistle, because it looked like Mashevsky actually had the position, then Jenner just over the back foul basketball and just swooped over her shoulder.
And Coach Kimmel told us that Jenner is a player that watches film maybe more than anyone, studies her opponent, and remembers the 2-2 draw that they had last year. Maybe not the biggest, deficit. It wasn't anything crazy, but it still was in the back of her mind because she's so dedicated to being dominant at the draw control circle.
Goodale forces the turnover. Hallie Simpkins. Here's Megan Tyrell, preseason All-American. And then again, Syracuse has plenty of them. Gives it to another one in Megan Carney.
And the deficit doesn't matter to a player like Megan Tyrell. She told us that she learned that the game is not over until it's over. That was her lesson from so far this season.
Nice move by Harris-Chuck. She rips it way high. And Carney was first to the spot. Trademark of the Syracuse offense has been that weave, but really haven't seen much of that so far. Then again, possession has been limited. Harris-Chuck doesn't need much space and doesn't get any there, but a big-time cross-check delivered by Lexi Schmalz, and this will be a free position for Emily Harris-Chuck.
And this is Emily Harris-Chuck's specialty. She winds up and she fires, and it's pretty hard to stop.
9 for 13 on the year from the 8. And a save there. LaRose read it perfectly, and Syracuse is still silenced on the offensive end.
Just a great read from LaRose. LaRose did not get rattled, just followed where the shot was going, and it zipped in there, but she was able to make the stop.
Jenny Markey, one of the fastest players on the team, with a botched pass over to Megan Carney. And Markey makes up for it. Still Syracuse ball after Markey took a shot. Sam Swart finds a cutter. Harris-Chuck couldn't corral it. No. Make that Schweitzer. And it falls right into the grasp of LaRose.
So it looks like right now Kimmel's revolving defense from zone to man is really working. I'm assuming that this is plan A, and plan A is working just fine so far. Yeah,
she was anticipating that swap to plan B, whatever it was. She didn't even know when we spoke to her earlier this week, just trying to figure it out. But it looks like she might have guessed correctly. And Syracuse's backer zone is struggling against the best offense in the nation that Duke has to offer, about 22 goals per game. Kat Berry has been very quiet today. Goodale was too physical there. And Berry, with a nation-leading 41 points, has some space here to work with. Inside tic-tac-toe and a quick stick goal for Caroline DeBillis. Another point for Kat Berry and another goal for Duke, 5-1. Duke is all over Syracuse. Right now it's Kimber Howard, her first start in the back of the net in orange, but too much for her to handle. The answer for Syracuse, can they find it? Find out after a break. The first 30 seconds belong to Emily Harris-Chuck in Syracuse. The rest monopolized by Duke, largely because of Maddie Jenner.
And it's the key to the game. It's possession, and it all starts. They're really trying to get her to work offensively so she can really do it in multiple facets of this game, but that's why the Blue Devils are up. It's because of the work done in the draw control circle, one of the most studied players on this Duke team.
And Kate Mashevsky is still in the draw control circle for Syracuse. They have some other options. Emma Tyrell's had some success there, and Emily Harris-Chuck too. Kate Mashevsky was second on the team last year in draw control. She is the ace. And Kayla Traynor sticking with her through thick and thin early. That might have been the easiest draw control win for Maddie Jenner. Here's Kat Berry, had an assist before the break, and she's bumped. So Kat Berry will have a free position shot on a struggling goalie in Kimber Howard. Berry, that's another. 6-1 Duke, and Kat Berry's 31st goal of the season.
And it's been a tough day for Kimber Howard. It's a free position shot. Bounce off the turf. That's one of the best ways to throw off a goalie that's already kind of working on skates. So nice shot. Kimber Howard, it's been a tough go. I don't know how long you continue to keep her in cage. It was an interesting choice to go from Schweitzer starting to Howard. I guess the one thing that she needs to remember is that the defense also needs to help her out. It's not all just on Howard. But it's going to be Coach Kayla Traynor's decision whether or not to pull the keeper, maybe not destroy her confidence. We'll see if it's a halftime decision or it happens in the next few minutes if it gets worse.
Emily Harris-Chuck is now on the draw for Syracuse, so Kayla Traynor just trying to figure something out here, down by 5. Nothing's off the table, and Harris-Chuck fails to win off the draw the first time. It's Katie Keller scooping it up. And Duke now leads the draw control department 7-1.
Emily Harris-Chuck's an option. Also, Emma Tyrell is an option. Coming into this game, just one behind Mashevsky.
Katie DeSimone, ACC all-freshman team last season. A 1-2 punch with Kat Berry, who she passes to. There's Maddie Jenner, and she is actually very dangerous in the offensive end, has 11 goals this season. And Kirsten Kimmel, the head coach for Duke, said, don't take her for granted beyond the restraining line. She can score. And so can DeBillis, number 2 for Caroline DeBillis. And Duke is running away with this one.
You'll notice that the ball goes goal line extended, and so Howard just flips around, turns a little too late, and a few fancy moves by DeBillis, and puts it in the back of the cage. It's all Duke right now.
Well, Duke is undefeated, 6-0. A lot of question marks surrounding this team. Hey, are they really that good? Are they worth the hype? They haven't really played anyone that is a strong opponent per se. No ranked opponents heading into their date with number 3 Syracuse today. But so far, so good for Kirsten Kimmel's squad. Emily Harris-Chuck gets another crack at it. against Maddie Jenner. Torton Award watch lister for the draw control specialist. And the active career leader in draw controls per game in the NCAA with nearly 9 per. She's well on her way today. And that's number 8 for Jenner. She's thrown down to the turf. And Maddie Jenner exchanges her stick for the one she needs to do some scoring in her own right. And this has been a work in progress for Duke. The past few years have been painful. Growing pains, fruition, and another goal. It's Kat Berry making it a 7-goal advantage for the Blue Devils.
And it's just been offensive domination. You talked about if Duke is the real deal, outscoring their opponents before this game, 131 to 39. And from what I've seen today, I would say, yeah, they might be the best offense in the nation. They're doing it against the number 3 team in the country.
Kimber Howard drawing a tough hand today. Her first start against the best offense in the nation. Good luck. Go win the job. And easier said than done. Arishuk will go again. She has 4 draw controls this season, 0 for 3 so far today. It's loose, and Syracuse takes it. Big opportunity for the Orange after a draw control win. You would think that the offense is maybe a little tight. These opportunities are limited.
That was just their second draw control win of this entire game. It was mishandled by Karner from Duke, and then Syracuse took advantage of the mistake.
Nifty move inside. Adamson was bumped, and the freshman has a chance from the 8. So Olivia Adamson has 5 goals already today, and Kayla Traynor looking on and hoping her high school All-American can get Syracuse back in this. Adamson does her part, and the Orange are down by 6.
Olivia Adamson has proven to be able to help her team out, scored the game winner against Stony Brook right here, just goes top shelf right over the head of LaRose. So this game is a game of runs. Duke went on a massive one. Syracuse could start one of their own here with some momentum. Look, it started at winning the draw control. That's where this game will be decided.
And even that last draw control win for Syracuse, far from clean. And now they go back to Kate Mishewski. Maddie Jenner just takes over games and putting on a clinic early on. Can Kate Mishewski claw Syracuse back from the draw control circle? Mishewski nearly had it, and Jenner poked it away. Katie Keller running downhill. And Keller is hounded in the corner. There's the takeaway. Sarah Cooper, preseason first-team selection with a caused turnover game, and that was a big one.
That's what the Syracuse team is missing. They're not causing any turnovers. They're not getting the ball back to help their offense get some more opportunities. And another mishandling from Kearney was able to figure it out. But sloppy play like that needs to be cleaned up, especially with so many limited opportunities when you're struggling at the draw control.
So Syracuse with a chance here to put a dent in this deficit. Sam Swart lost it, but a hit to the head. Guilty party, Katie Cosgrove. The message this week by Kayla Trainer was the little things matter, and the little things turn into big things. Well, I don't think anyone's necessarily... LaRose at the top shelf.
She winded up and really just ripped it as hard as she could, but LaRose read it all the way.
Kat Berry has it with plenty of space. Sarah Cooper is following her. And Berry was actually a 4-year starter in the midfield. Switched over to attack out of necessity. There were a few injuries, a few graduations on the attacking line, and Kat Berry got that switch. The offensive coordinator, Brooke Griffin, recommended it to Kirsten Kimmel before the season, and Kimmel actually says that she thinks that Berry secretly wanted it without even knowing it. The switch. She's always been an offensive-minded midfielder.
Yeah, to that I'll say it's fun. It's fun to score, and if that is one of your main responsibilities, you're not going to complain if you get moved, especially if you play the position well.
Oh my goodness, nifty move, and Katie DeSimone channeling her inner globetrotter. Duke leads by 7, and DeSimone has her first.
Again, at goal line extended where Howard has her back turned to the rest of the Duke offense, and DeSimone just took it by herself, just worked her way around with a few hesitations, switched where the direction the stick was going, and put it in the back of the cage.
And it's only fitting that DeSimone scores. As we're talking about Kat Berry, the two of them have been such a dynamic 1-2 punch. So far this season, this is their 7th game. They have 77 points combined. Only 15 seconds left. If Syracuse gets the draw here, they can push. And we saw some late quarter heroics against Stony Brook earlier this season. Then again, that was a little while ago. That was their 3rd game, and a lot has changed since. Mishesky wins the draw, but there are only 8 seconds. Emma Tyrell with 3, needs to make a move. And Tyrell from the perimeter lets it go. Sophia LaRose unchallenged there and lightly challenged in the first. It all started in the draw control circle. Maddie Jenner is dominating 9-3, and Jenner putting the team on her back. She doesn't have a goal, but hey, feeding Duke some more possessions on Kimber Howard. Syracuse and Duke after a break. (9-2) in favor of Duke comfortably after 1 quarter, and the Blue Devils leaving no doubt that they are a force to be reckoned with even in their ACC opener. Now this is probably the best conference in America. 6 teams in the top 25 from the ACC.
And Boston College, the reigning national champion, so no surprise that they're #1 in the ACC. Also,
big reason why. She ended the first quarter strong, and one can only imagine how the second quarter is going to go for Jenner, who has 9 draw control wins for Duke. That's all of them. To Syracuse's 3. Kirsten Kimmel said to us earlier this week, we can't take Maddie Jenner for granted. That's going to be hard to do. And won one of them.
Still waiting for Emma Tyrell to probably get her chance at some point in this game if Harris Shuck isn't able to help out. Again, coming into this game, Tyrell was just 2nd on the team in draw control, just 1 behind the specialist.
Jenner wins it again with Katie Cosgrove scooping up the ground ball. You would think whoever Syracuse uses in the draw control circle, it's going to be an uphill battle for them. Jenner is at 6'2". That's the tallest on either roster so far today. So Duke's offense was not fazed by the backer zone for Syracuse in the first quarter. DeSimone had a goal late in the first quarter. She has a couple of assists as well. Anna Callahan had a goal against East Carolina and a save there. Kimber Hauer is still in the back of the net, and Syracuse has been splitting time between Hauer and Schweitzer. Half to half. The only difference between today and the rest of the season is that Delaney Schweitzer is typically the starter. Megan Tyrell has it, and she has been silent. Really good defense by Katie Cosgrove to mark her up. Arishuk finds a cutter, point blank. That's Megan Carney's bread and butter. And Syracuse, just as they did to start the first, they strike first here in the second.
And Megan Carney, coming off a game where she was blanked by the Northwestern defense, did her thing right here when doorstep and slots it right past LaRose to carry this team back in this second quarter. A game of runs. Maybe it's the second quarter. Last game against the Wildcats, it was the third.
So Syracuse failed to win the draw. Got the ball off a save by Howard. Those have been hard to come by, but Megan Carney, the captain and Towards-On Award watch lister, preseason All-American honorable mention, is keeping Syracuse afloat. There are so many players on the Syracuse roster like Carney that are capable of just taking over a game, but the only problem is they need possession.
It was a miscommunication, Shevsky and Markey, and it's a missed opportunity for Syracuse. Needs every single possession to claw their way back into this game.
Championship as a member of
this game and maybe into national attention are pretty locked in. Duke wants to become the fourth.
Pat Berry has 2 goals, 4 assists. Syracuse read the stat sheet and doubles her. McCorkle wins her one-on-one and misses wide. That was a good look, and Katie Goodale was just burned on that one-on-one, so Duke holds on. DeSimone, the shot clock winding down. It's Berry at X. Finds a cutter. DeSimone couldn't get a stick in there, and a turnover. Big hit to...
Shoot, holding them until the last few seconds.
And Carney opened the scoring in the second quarter. And Emma Tyrell has the...
From the offense to defense transition. A stonewall and went into Sam Swart. And Syracuse is coming back in this one with score 9-4. We'll come back with more action after the break.
Syracuse already matched their first quarter total, 2 goals in each frame, but we're early on in the second quarter, and Syracuse getting some stops on the defensive end. These are the fruits of their labor.
Well, it all starts with making stops, because Duke wins at the draw control circle, and then they score almost every single time. That goal from Sam Swart, it started with the defense holding the Blue Devils down and transitioning into offense.
So the Orange are sticking around in this one against a team like Duke, number 7 in the nation, best offense in the country. They get down 9-2, and some questions start to arise on the sideline, but the Orange winning some draws potentially. Mishewski gets another. So Syracuse is still being doubled up in the draw control circle, but in the second quarter, that's actually been a department that they've been winning.
And Emma Tyrell stayed as close as possible so that she was able to pick up any spillage.
And Tyrell is hit right by the crease. So Syracuse gets a free position. And here's another look. Tyrell took a shot.
She definitely took a shot toward the back. It was a stick-to-stick contact where you have to hit the head in order for it to be valid.
Emma Tyrell, 4 for 6 from the 8 so far this year. Deke and score! Do they allow it? Tyrell might have ended up in the crease. They count the goal, and Syracuse has scored the first 3 in the second.
This game is a game of runs. Gets completely shoved by Olivia Karner, but no one can stop a Tyrell on a mission.
So yeah, it looked like Tyrell tripped in, but a cross check by Olivia Karner, and now Syracuse will be a woman up. And Emma Tyrell with her first goal of the day. ACC Offensive Player of the Week, and Tyrell stepped up big time at the end of last season with Syracuse losing a couple players to torn ACLs, making Carney Emily Harris-Chuck. She stepped up from the midfield to the attack line, and that's given her some uber confidence early on this season. No draw after the penalty. Olivia Karner is on the bench with a releasable call. The Orange scored the first 3 goals here in the second. The draw controls night and day from quarter number 2 to quarter number 1. And now Syracuse with a woman up opportunity to really get back in this one.
And credit goes to Coach Kayla Trainer. She made the decision to keep Hauer in the back of the cage and made the adjustment on the defensive end to get this game back to just a 4-point lead for Duke.
Jenny Markey does not have much real estate to work with. Emily Harris-Chuck gives it to Tyrell. To the doorstep, sister-to-sister connection, and Syracuse trails by just 3. Emma Tyrell, back-to-back goals.
2 things I know for sure. This Syracuse offensive identity runs through the Tyrell sisters or the Meg show. Whenever Meg and Tyrell is involved, it's going to be a good chance.
How do you make your coach happy? That'll do.
Just a sigh of relief. It looks like all of the things that were going wrong in the first quarter have been changed in the second based off her adjustments. I think the biggest one is staying with Kimber Hauer in goal, because I think it could have been very easy to be trigger happy in that way and just be like, oh, it's, a 9-1 lead for Duke and we need to do something about it. But instead, just stayed confident in what this team does.
So Maddie Jenner has been pretty quiet in the second quarter. She won 9 draws in the first. And Mishewski's looked like a different player. Syracuse with the toughest, played 3 ranked teams in the top 20. And another draw control win. Syracuse unfazed by number 7. Megan Tyrell tries to go cross field. She has it stripped away.
She had a shrieking Megan Carney coming in, trying to get the Duke Blue Devils defense caught off guard as Carney was coming in from Mashewski.
So Katie Cosgrove forces the turnover. And Cosgrove actually has a local tie. Her brother Ryan plays lacrosse in Syracuse, not for the Orange, but for D2 Lemoyne, and it's been a good season for the Dolphins, #1 in the D2 ranks. So Duke on the offensive end for the first time in the second quarter, really, with the exception of the first save that Kimber Howard made early on in the second period. That actually led to another goal by Syracuse. Maddie Jenner has 11 goals this season, goes to her left and hits the iron. She'll hold on to it. Hallie Simpkins was diving and thought she beat Jenner to the spot. Towards-on award watch lister keeps it for the Blue Devils. DeSimone to Jenner. Help out your own cause. Maddie Jenner, her first goal of the day and 12th of the season.
And Jenner was one of the players that was lingering in the back. No Syracuse defenders came to cover. It was just another breakdown on the defensive side.
All right, so that's the first time that Duke has scored in the second quarter. It was a 4-0 run for the Orange. And Maddie Jenner, with the weight of this game on her shoulders, what else is new? Goes back to the draw control circle. And Kimber Howard knows that might be big for Duke to break the ice in their own right in the second.
If you're Syracuse, you want to keep this one right within 5. When it starts ballooning out to 6, 7, 8, then it gets a little out of control, but you've clawed your way back to this point. You want to keep momentum going. Let that just be a chink in the armor.
Remember, the Orange scored the first goal of this game, and it came about 30 seconds in. From there, Duke owned the first quarter, and Syracuse stormed out of the gate in the second. Courtesy of the draw control department, Deja Vu.
Emma Tyrell has been the game changer at the draw. She's not taking the draw controls, but she's keeping it just close enough that she can pick up any of the extra balls.
Megan Tyrell just turned it over on her last trip. Now it's Olivia Adamson. She has a goal from the 8. Megan Carney to Tyrell. Closeout by Keller there. Adamson. Back to Smith. Natalie Smith misses wide. So Megan Tyrell has really been forced to be a facilitator, even though she's the leading goal scorer on this team. But Duke is really trying to take her out of this game.
Which was one of the game plans for Coach Kimmel and the Blue Devils, take the Tyrell sisters out of it. Emma Tyrell has emerged as of late, but has kept Megan Tyrell off the score sheet so far.
And Harris-Chuck took a shot to the head here.
Got shoved and then gets shot in the head, but Emily Harris-Chuck, this is where she shines.
From the 12-meter fan, she didn't have enough room to get in by the 8. But Syracuse still has plenty of time to shoot. Tyrell inside to a cutter Smith. She lost it. It bounces back to Tyrell and a tie-up. Syracuse will hold on after a push.
It was just two players aggressively going for the ball and a little bit of a hip check from Katie Cosgrove.
So 16 seconds on the shot clock. And Megan Tyrell with some inherited space after that push. Shot clock down to 10. Emily Harris-Chuck through the teeth of the defense, lost it. Shooting space. Actually maybe a cross check here, and now with the shot clock down to 7, Harris-Chuck has a free position shot from the 8.
She's winding up, getting ready.
Emily Harris-Chuck. She lost it, falls down to the turf, the ball is loose, it goes back in off the rebound, and Harris-Chuck ended up in the crease, so Syracuse has that goal disallowed, and the Orange come up empty-handed.
A couple of disallowed goals so far today. Disappointing for a team who needs every single opportunity to count the good defense for the Blue Devils.
A score here would be massive for the muted offense that otherwise has been best in America, with about 22 goals per game, had 9 in the first quarter. Katie Keller, sophomore midfielder, started playing lacrosse back in 2nd grade. She didn't like it much at the time. The goggles bothered her. To be fair, I get that. Might not be my forte either.
Yeah, if I'm 8 years old, I don't want goggles on my face.
Callahan facilitating inside to Billis, is leveled. And this will be a free position for Caroline DeBillis.
This is going to be, like you said, a free position for Duke, and just at an inopportune time, it looks like Goodale was trying to take a charge like it was basketball. They just turned over the dome from basketball yesterday to lacrosse today. Maybe she was channeling her inner Marek Dolezaj from Syracuse?
That's a blast from the past. Yeah.
A little bit of throwback.
Jimmy Boeheim led the team in charges this season on the men's side, so there's that as well. Senior day for Jimmy and his younger brother Buddy yesterday. Callahan couldn't corral it, and Syracuse nearly grabbed the turnover. They do. So, Jenna, a save by Kimber Howard triggered a goal early on in the second quarter. Now a turnover for the Orange defense that was really struggling in the first quarter. Could this be another?
This defense to offense is what has fueled the Orange in this second quarter. So it could be another great opportunity. That and Emma Tyrell, who currently holds the ball.
Syracuse trying to avoid consecutive losses for the first time since 2018. And bounce back after a devastating loss against Northwestern on the road, number 6 in the nation, 16-15, giving up 4 unanswered goals, including the overtime winner. Megan Carney makes a move. Doesn't need much room. That's why. The Orange whittle the deficit down to 3 once again.
And Carney just took this all by herself. Didn't see any other options in terms of ball movement. Takes it with her left hand. Top shelves it to give Syracuse a little bit of less work to do in this quarter, keeping it within 3.
And that'll play, says Kayla Troiner. Megan Carney still not 100% after the torn ACL last season, but that's how good she is. 2 goals today for the senior. And reaping the benefits of the continued success from the draw control circle here in the second quarter. In the second quarter, Syracuse is outgaining Duke in the draw control circle 4-1. Never count out Kate Mishewski. This one goes to Duke. And Katie Cosgrove was the one to gobble it up. Syracuse has the second worst defense in the conference going into this game, allowing about 13 goals per game. And it seems like pretty soon Duke might have that in the rearview mirror, even though Syracuse's offense is doing their best to keep pace. DeSimone can't get her hands free on Natalie Smith to make that good out. Three seconds. DeBillis.
Second 3-second in the game. And from the last game, they also had one that was the overtime.
Cat Berry can't convert on the free position shot there. DeBillis backs it up. Oh my goodness! Alley-oop, zero gravity, disallowed. And Maddie McCorkle ended up in the crease, a violation by millimeters. Syracuse pushing in transition. And Jenny Markey slows it down. It looked like Duke had a highlight for the ages, and there's a swipe. Kabi Biscarni came out of nowhere, and Markey had no clue.
The communication came a little bit too late there. Usually you want to give your teammates a heads up if someone is coming from behind.
Berry, bouncer goes. Ping pong of a possession, but it ends up with Cat Berry, and Duke is up by 4.
And it came all the way from the goalie for Duke, and Cat Berry took it the rest of the way and finished an impressive long ball from the woman in cage.
Cat Berry, that's her 7th point. And Duke is keeping an arm's length of distance on Syracuse. Just when the Orange started to figure it out, that's when Duke responds.
If Syracuse keeps this one close, there is still a whole 30 minutes left to play on the back half of going into the locker room. So plenty of time if you keep this lead, like I said before, like right within the 5 mark, try to get a goal to go into halftime to gain some momentum.
Syracuse in their backer zone. Big time whistle, big time contact. And Syracuse has allowed 11 goals. Largely, you would think Sierra Cockrell is inactive today. She was injured against Northwestern in the last game, and that leaves a big hole in the defense.
And that's why this defense doesn't have the cohesion that it would like. A senior leader in the back, unable to play. We saw her in crutches at media ops earlier this week.
Olivia Karner will take it from the 8. Karner has it saved by Hauer. And a yellow card is issued. So Syracuse will go a woman down. Here's another look.
It's hard to see where it came from. It came from Sarah Cooper coming in, swarming in, and hitting the stick of Karner.
So the first card against Syracuse today, 2 minutes, it's releasable. But Sarah Cooper is, I make that Maddie Baxter, is a big absence on the field, and Duke will not take the shot directly off the whistle.
Both Sarah Cooper and Maddie Baxter were in the vicinity when that yellow card was called. A couple of sticks hitting the head of Karner.
Yeah, it really seemed like take your pick. There was contact from both of them. Berry has 7 points, working at X. Oh, a nice feed and a miss, wide left by Abby Landry. Berry was there all alone. The Orange scored the first 4 goals in the second quarter. It started because of the draw control battle, and since then that imbalance has been neutralized with Duke winning the last 2.
An opportunity for Duke here with a woman up.
Nice pass, quick stick shot, and Hauer smothers it. Caroline DeBillis was stopped, and a yellow card going against Duke this time.
And so it was a dangerous play hitting the head of Sarah Cooper, so a couple of swats back and forth, and it penalized both teams.
So Caroline DeBillis is now on the bench with a yellow of her own. Again, 2 minutes is releasable. And Syracuse doesn't have to wait much longer. Nice clear by the Orange. Katie Goodale taking it herself.
Goodale with some fancy footwork to get it across the line in order for the offense to continue. Trying to get the Orange closer to mounting a massive comeback.
Emily Harris-Chuck, we really haven't called her name much since that first goal in the first quarter, 30 seconds in. Gives it to Emma Tyrell. She has 2 goals in the second frame herself. Olivia Adamson, high school All-American, finds a cutter. There she is, Emily Harris-Chuck right on cue. And the Orange are still down by just 3.
Just 19 seconds left in this first half. One of the things I said that needed to happen if Syracuse wanted to remain in this game is score before halftime, and who else but Emily Harris-Chuck, the captain, putting her team on her back. You just mentioned hasn't really done much since the first 30 seconds. I think she heard you, Brad, and she said, no, Brad, I got it. I'll help my team out. I think that's what happened there.
And that ties Emily Harris-Chuck 4th all-time in career goals in Syracuse history. It's her and Alyssa Murray, the 2014 SU legend. And a late goal for Syracuse. Unless something crazy happens in the next 19 seconds, that's how this half comes to an end. What does that mean for SU heading into the locker room?
That means everything. Just had a very strong second quarter. This game got out of hand, and it got out of hand quickly. Nothing was stopping the Blue Devils, but then the Orange came back, made some adjustments, didn't need some time with their head coach on the sideline in the middle of the first quarter and the second, and now it's just a 3-point game. At one point, Duke led by 8.
We're back to even strength. Sam Swart trots on for Syracuse. Can she get in position in time to get a stop if Duke gets a good shot on? There's a good shot, and Maddie Jenner picture perfect with 5 seconds left. Jenner, we spoke too soon, and Jenner nets her second of the day.
And so now that gives Duke a little bit of momentum. 19 seconds left, and they made quick work of it, going all the way down the field. It started with Katie Keller quickly making her way to the offensive side, and then it was finished, and it was Jenner. Who else? The woman who has carried her team within the draw circle. This quarter might not have gone exactly the way she would have wanted it in that regard, but has a couple of goals.
Kirsten Kimmel, all smiles, knowing how important Maddie Jenner is, even in a quarter that was not her best, far from it. She puts her fingerprints all over it towards the end. This draw will likely just be cosmetic. Kate Mashesky started really strong in the second quarter. Since then, Maddie Jenner has been all over it. And that is how the first half comes to an end. Well, Syracuse started really strong in the second, scoring the first 4 of the second frame, but Duke ending really strong. Hey, we've got a close one here. Syracuse and Duke, a top 10 matchup, second half action after a break.
Well, one half in the books, and it's 12-8 Duke. The road Blue Devils taking care of business through one half so far inside the Dome. We welcome you inside our Newhouse studios for the ACC Network Halftime Report. Johnny Gadamowicz, Jaron May. Jaron, Syracuse did not get out to a hot start in this game whatsoever. Duke really put their foot down early, but the Orange hit the halftime break, trailing only by 4.
Right, and it was the defense of Syracuse that struggled a lot. They just could not shut down that Duke attack. They were getting to the inside. They were drawing free positions. They were doing everything that you needed to do to pull up a top 5 upset.
Kat Barry certainly led the way for the Blue Devils. We mentioned her pregame. We knew the Orange were going to need to know where she was at all times, but Barry has a hat trick, and it's a Duke team that offensively, Jaron, seemingly is having whatever they want every time they bring the ball up the field.
Yeah, I mean, the stats all favor Duke right now, and this Duke team is continuing to pile on, and specifically with the draw controls, and I know we'll touch on that in just a second, but the stats all favoring the Blue Devils, and you got to get some type of momentum, because every single time Syracuse would score a goal or two, especially in the start of the second half, Duke would respond immediately after. You look at the shots on goal specifically, Syracuse having 11, being able to capitalize on 8 of them, but then you're also allowing this Duke team to have 16 in the first half. The draws obviously stand out a little bit, and then the turnovers are pretty even. So everything is mostly favoring Duke, but Syracuse just can't capitalize when they get their opportunities.
You look at those draws in particular, the Blue Devils and Maddie Jenner nearly doubling up Syracuse in the draw control circle. Katie Mashewski even saw Emily Harris-Chuck, Jaron, in there a little bit, right. But Syracuse not able to get it done at the draw control circle. One person who did get it done in that first half, though, that's Megan Carney. She had 2 goals, Syracuse trailing by 4, but Carney, after being scoreless last game, bounced back with 2 at half number 1. And Jaron, you had a chance to catch up with Megan earlier this week.
All right, I'm here with Meg Carney of Syracuse Women's Lacrosse, star attacker. Meg, thanks for taking the time. We're going to play pass and get to know Megan, but I do need to admit I'm a beginner, so you're going to have to take it easy.
Sounds good.
All right, if I mess up, it's not on me, it's on the pro
I'll
over
take that.
here. All right, let's start off with some quick hitters. When did you start playing lax?
I started playing lacrosse 3rd grade. Basically in Texas, obviously lacrosse isn't that popular. So I started playing boys lacrosse because there wasn't a girls team. I think it was about 5th or 6th grade, we finally got a girls team. And so then about that time, my mom was like, you can't keep playing guys lacrosse, like you gotta switch over. So I did a year of guys and girls lacrosse and then eventually dropped it and just stuck with the girls lacrosse.
Yeah, what are some of the differences between Gary and Kayla?
I think Gary is very wise. Like he's been around the game for so long. He's been through so much with it. He knows so many things about the game of lacrosse, which is very helpful. Now with Kayla and Kenzie, their field vision, just the little things in game, like call me over on the sideline and say like, hey, like this, and this, and it just works. Like the amount of things we've learned from them in such short amount of time is just amazing.
All right, let's get serious now. Obviously, you go down in the BC game last year. You can watch the clip, you plant, you go down. What went through your mind at that moment when obviously you tore your ACL? What was going through your mind?
Honestly, nothing. I'm pretty sure I blacked out. Like, I don't remember the feeling of it. I don't really remember. Honestly, felt like it dislocated, felt like my knee shifted. So that's hope was sort of in the back of my mind, like, all right, maybe I didn't tear it, just kind of being optimistic. A weekend game, my parents were there, and they were literally sitting straight in front of me at the yard line it happened at. I remember looking right at them, and then my trainer and Coach Gate were over me, and I was like, holy crap, like, I might have just torn my ACL. Like,
what percentage would you say your knee's at right now?
I feel great, actually. I think, honestly, some days my left feels better than my right. I think I'd be very frustrated if I got cleared and didn't feel 100%. So just knowing each game it's going to get better, just getting more comfortable out there is nice to know that it's just the beginning of the season. I feel pretty good so far.
Now, I know you've said this to reporters before, and everyone on your team says this. You guys know that you can compete for a national championship this year. So final question, are you guys Memorial Day weekend in the Final Four and winning that national championship in your mind?
Of course. Obviously. It's 2022. It's our year.
I I love it. All right, that is Meg Carney of Syracuse Women's Lacrosse. Meg, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, Jaron May, ACC Network Extra. We'll catch you next time.
Well, Meg Carney doing everything in her power to make sure that the Orange take care of business today against Duke, but they trail by 4 at the halftime break. Johnny Gadamowicz, Jaron May with you. And Jaron, a big reason why the draw control circle. It's a spot where Syracuse has struggled. Katie Mashewski not necessarily getting it done. If you're head coach Kayla Trainer, are you riding Mashewski in half number 2?
I am, because it's not Mashewski that is struggling right now. She's doing everything as expected, and she's doing what she should do. The wings of the draw circle are not picking up what they need to do. They're not picking up their slack and figuring out what they need to do. Listen, Maddie Jenner, she's really good. Obviously, she knows what to do, but those wings, look at that. Maddie is just flipping it up, and then the wings of Duke are coming in and collapsing and scooping up the ground balls. Syracuse isn't doing that. Emma Tyrell and the other wings are just not being able to help out Caitlin Mashewski.
So the Orange having trouble in the draw control circle, but they're also having trouble on defense containing Kat Barry, who is having just whatever she wants out there. If you're the Syracuse defensive unit, how do you change that to make sure she doesn't have her fingerprints all over half number 2?
Exactly. 3 goals, 4 assists for Barry. She's been fantastic. She's getting to the inside. She's also just finishing on the outside. You look at this free position. What do you do? I mean, that's an absolute heater. She's been creative on the inside. Great cuts, great finds. Her entire offensive unit is working. Now, what you do if you're Syracuse, I think you got to face guard her. I don't think you can allow Kat Barry to be the reason why you lose this game, because outside of her, yes, the Duke team does have some good opportunities and they do have good players that could pick up the slack, but she's their entire offense right now. If you can nullify her, face guard her, you'll be okay.
All right, so that's on the Duke side of things. From a Syracuse offensive standpoint, it's Emma Tyrell who's had a big impact on this one. But Jaron, we saw Duke face guarding Tyrell a bit as well.
Yeah, both Tyrells. They've got face guards, not every possession, but sometimes. Emma is doing what she does best, and she's becoming a distributor today as well. You saw that beautiful find on the inside to Swart. She also got knocked down. She's being crafty with the ball. If you want to get back into this game, I think you have to rely on your second and third options, because they are taking away Megan Tyrell. They are taking away Emily Harris-Chuck to a point and Meg Carney to a point. They're still getting their shots because, of course, they will always get their shots. However, you got to rely on the other ones, the X factors, the Emma Tyrell, the Maddie Baxter, the anybody else that can step up, because you don't have Sierra Cockrell today out with an injury. You don't have Emma Ward, obviously, throughout this season, and they're doing a good job at nullifying the main stars of the Syracuse offense. So look at the secondary stars in the second half.
Well, there you have it. The Syracuse offense that put up 8 goals in half number 1. They'll try to claw their way back into half number 2 against the Blue Devils. That's going to do it for Jaron May. I'm Johnny Gadamowicz, the ACC Network Halftime Report. Second half action coming right up.
Their way back.
Yeah, Syracuse started really strong in the second quarter. And Jenna, what was the X factor to that switch?
It was the draw controls-ish along with the defense. Emma Tyrell came closer to the draw control circle in order to get any of the extra balls that were kind of around, because Jenner doesn't just win the draw control. She kind of like swings the stick around, and Mashewski isn't able to compete with that physicality. So Emma Tyrell came in and helped. And on the defensive side, they were able to create stops. In the beginning, it was all Duke and no answer from Syracuse.
And defensively, Syracuse is sticking with Kimber Hauer in the back of the net. We'll talk about her in a second. But Syracuse down by 4 at the break. First half stats right here. And Jenna, what sticks out to you about the way Duke imposed their will in the first and Syracuse bounced back in the second?
Well, early on, Duke was scoring a lot. Like we mentioned, the shots on goal stands out for me. So Syracuse able to have 11 now, and they only had a couple in the first quarter.
Kate Mashewski, Maddie Jenner in the draw control circle once again. This is the battle, and it has been all day to look out for. And a false start. Mashevsky jumped early, and Maddie Jenner strikes first in the third.
There's also been a number of those violations so far today. I believe that's the third. So simple mistakes when you could have the advantage, it gets taken away almost immediately because of the whistle.
So Kimber Hauer is in the back of the net for Syracuse. Started off with a lot of struggles, but calmed down and actually turned a lot of defensive stops into offense in the second quarter. But this is the first time that we're seeing for Syracuse the same goalie in the first half and in the second. It's been Delaney Schweitzer splitting time with Hauer. Both transfers. Schweitzer from USC and Kimber Hauer from UNC. Best offense in the nation, about 22 goals per game for Duke. Landry had one of them and gives the keys to X. It's DeSimone finding Barry.
And with another high-powered half, they could make above their season average. Doubling up would be 24, which is an absurd number to hit the number 3 team in the nation.
Carter lost possession. Jenner nearly scooped it up, channeling her in her draw control with the ball popped up. It's still loose inside the 8, and Syracuse takes it. Bianca Chevry gets it over to Kimber Hauer. That might be the best defensive stand we've seen from Syracuse all day.
It was a lot of communication that went into that because the ball just kept moving. Jenner came in on a was much taller than Goodale and tried to use her height and physicality, and it didn't work out there. Able to get it over to Schweitzer, or Hauer rather, and Hauer able to escape a potentially terrible situation.
And Syracuse gets it over here. That might be where they miss Asa Goldstock from last season. She was really strong coming out of the crease and helping out with the clear. So far it has not bitten Syracuse in this game, but it has early on in the season with turnovers actually a problem for the goalie unit. Not just Kimber Hauer, but Delaney Schweitzer as well. So Syracuse surged in the second quarter in their offense. Emma Tyrell had 2 goals. Emily Harris-Schuck had one towards the end of the second quarter. And here's Tyrell finding Harris-Schuck, muscling inside, and the bouncer doesn't go. It's saved by Sophia LaRose.
It ended up being a little bit more of a roller than a bouncer, and that's why I just didn't have enough on it, and that's why I didn't go in the back of the cage.
Tyrell back to Harris-Schuck. Oh, point blank, that's too easy. Megan Tyrell, there she is, her first goal of the day, and Syracuse is sticking around.
And it was all about patience. They ran a similar play with Emily Harris-Schuck right at the doorstep, but instead of taking the shot, this time she goes to goal line extended, finds her teammate Megan Tyrell. The two are 1-2 in goals scored this season to lead the team.
So just as the second quarter started, just as the first started, Syracuse wasting no time. And Megan Tyrell, that's just her second point of the day. Her first goal had an assist earlier on an Emma Tyrell goal. And Megan is tied for 8th all-time Syracuse goal list, and that is a decorated list. She's still chasing Emily Harris-Schuck, but Megan Tyrell solidifying herself as an SU legend. The Orange, since it was a 4-1 game for Duke with 4 unanswered goals off the top, they have not been closer than 3. Emma Tyrell to Sam Swore, quick stick pass, oh my goodness! Deja vu, Megan Tyrell! 2 goals in a matter of 9 seconds for Tyrell.
And it comes down to what it's come down to this entire game. Emma Tyrell helping out at the draw control circle, finds Sam Swore quickly over to Megan Tyrell, the bouncer, and Kayla Trainer, another jump in celebration. This team has come all the way back to get within 2 goals in the last 9 seconds.
Don't blink, you might miss it. The Orange down by 2 for the first time since the early goings in the first quarter. This draw goes to Syracuse, downhill. And Sarah Cooper not comfortable on the offensive end. Sam Swart is though. Swart has 1 goal so far today. The Orange, with the strongest strength of schedule in the nation, they prepared for this with a win over Notre Dame, a win over Stony Brook, and a quick stick shot there. Sam Swart was stopped by Sophia LaRose. It was reflex time at its finest. Now Duke pushing. Barry was stopped. Sarah Cooper and her value cannot be understated.
Cooper with the stop, it looked like a potential deja vu again where LaRose would chuck the ball all the way on the offensive side and find a couple more steps to find Kat Berry, but last time there was a score on that at the end of that play. This time the Syracuse defense holds up.
Berry lost it. The reason? She was bumped. Bianca Chevry, too physical. Yeah, Kat Berry has 7 points already today. If she just loses the ball, it's likely because there was some contact there. And she just trucks over a defender. Katie Goodell sets her feet, draws the charge.
Going in with everything she had, but Goodell does a great job, like you said, setting her feet, having some good contact, some contact that is allowed in the sport, and then Kat Berry just steamrolls it.
Natalie Smith gets it past the restraining line with some room, and she's hit hard. Cubby Biscardi, the guilty party, and it's a yellow card. So Syracuse will go a woman up for the next 2 minutes. It is a releasable penalty on the cross-check by Biscardi.
24, cross-check, 2 minutes releasable. 2 minutes releasable.
So Cubby Biscardi will be missed on the defensive end. She's been strong, came into this game with 9 caused turnovers. And Syracuse with a chance to cut this deficit down to 1. SU trailed by as many as 7. Oh, turnaround score! Jalen Jimerson joins the party, and Syracuse is down by 1.
An impressive effort, just fighting her way, turns around, rolls it past LaRose, getting in on that scoring party, down to 1. It's unbelievable.
Coach approval. Yeah, I'd say so. Jalen Jimerson, just her 2nd goal of the season, and the senior was silenced against Northwestern with no points. And she's been through it all, redshirted in 2020 after playing as a freshman in 2019. This is just her 16th game of her career.
Do you remember when this game seemed like it was out of reach for Syracuse? Never doubt the Orange.
Another draw control for Caitlin Mashesky. Emma Tyrell. Megan Carney finds Megan Tyrell, and that shot is blocked. Sophia LaRose run it all the way. Olivia Adamson, high school All-American. probably getting the most run of any freshman. Syracuse relied heavily on a freshman last season. Her name was Emma Ward. She's on the shelf for the year. Megan Tyrell, that's the equalizer. We're tied at 12s.
Who else do you turn to than Megan Tyrell? Switches her position in the air and shoots it. It's now a tied game with Megan Tyrell carrying this game on her back. We'll be back after a quick break. Syracuse fighting their way back into this one.
All, and no, it's not a typo. Syracuse was down by as many as 7, then came the runs.
That's what this sport is all about. Who has momentum? And right now, it's the Tyrell sisters in Syracuse. Back-to-back goals for Megan Tyrell to help her team out, and everyone's getting in on the action. Jalen Jimerson also helping out. But again, team's leading scorer, Megan Tyrell, really getting it done here in the Dome.
And the Orange scored the first 4 goals in the third quarter, just as they did in the second, largely because of the draw control battle, and Kate Mishewski is putting the team on her back. Mishewski jumped early again. So the only 2 draw control wins for Maddie Jenner in this quarter have been because Mishewski was guilty of a false start.
The 4th false start we've seen from Mishewski so far today gives Duke an auto, there's no fight for it, just gives them another offensive possession.
Maddie Baxter hounding McCorkle, and nearly a turnover. But too much contact. Duke in their nation-leading offense, nearly 22 goals per game. They've been stifled in the second half. Then again, they haven't had many possessions. DeSimone is backed off by Baxter. Duke is off to their best start since 2015, 6-0. That year they went to the national semifinal, Memorial Day weekend. Both of these teams have a chance to be there at the end of the season. Now DeSimone with the shot clock winding down. Syracuse's defense looking strong. There's a cutter! Oh my goodness! Teleporting pass! Veronica Hyman with contact, and Duke takes the lead right back.
And the shot clock was around 10 seconds winding down, but no problem because Hyman falling. Slots one past Howard.
So Duke breaks the skid, breaks the drought, and Veronica Hyman, redshirt junior, with her second goal of the day. So it will be a woman up for Duke for the next 2 minutes. And no draw will be taken. There's a cross check on Maddie Baxter. That's her second penalty of the day.
Well, she was part of the reason why the shot clock was able to wind down as far as it did, keeping her defender in front of her, but playing very aggressive.
So Duke with a big break there. They get the goal and then a free possession. Callahan trying to race around Cooper. Wartime Award watch lister, so that's going to be hard to do. DeSimone makes a move towards the crease. She draws some contact and a hold. So Katie DeSimone will go for a free position shot.
It was an aggressive take from Goodale right in the back, pushed her over and into the crease.
DeSimone winds up, no shot there. Instead, it's a pass, and the bouncer shot goes wide. It's backed up by Syracuse. Heads up play by Julia Basciano, the freshman midfielder. Syracuse is quick on the clear. Goodale, oh, she was sandwiched. That's another yellow for another cross-check. And with Maddie Baxter on the sideline for a similar call. This will even it up.
And it was a cross-check from behind, from the front. There was just a lot of physicality that's happened in these past few minutes. As the score has gotten closer and closer, then there's been more and more penalties.
And after Veronica Hyman was the victim of a cross-check, she's the culprit there. 2-minute woman up for Syracuse. Non-releasable penalty against Hyman. So this could be a big run for the Orange. Jenny Markey, pass too high. And it's Duke ball. It looked like Sarah Cooper passed the restraining line and played out of position, so it's offsides. And Syracuse might have just blown their opportunity to score on that woman up with Duke cradling and a chance to just burn out this woman up opportunity. And a botched opportunity. Duke coughs it right back.
They just had to play catch a little bit. That's what they had to do to run out the woman up opportunity. Now Syracuse with a whole minute left.
Jalen Jimerson gives it to Emma Tyrell. The Orange have distributed the scoring very evenly. However they can get it, that's how they're going to do it. Megan Tyrell finds Carney. Back to Tyrell. Tough angle. Cross the crease. And Harris Shuck is stopped. So Kay Conway scoops it up. And Duke with yet another opportunity to burn out what's left of the woman up look for Syracuse.
A great heads up play from LaRose.
Oh, that's a nice pass. Cross-field pass for LaRose to the midline, right by the draw control circle. And that is an efficient clear if I've ever seen one.
So a lot of solid play from the goalie position for the Blue Devils with the clear and the stop. Quick reaction time, not frightened by Emily Harris-Chuck barreling in.
Duke is trying to stay undefeated. Syracuse is trying to bounce back from their first and only loss of the season against Northwestern, 16-15, and a fourth quarter collapse. Fourth quarters have plagued the Orange so far this year, so that's why the next 3 minutes are even more important for the Orange. Kat Berry, save. It's Kimber Hauer.
Hauer in her first start for the Orange and still in cage. Usually they switch it up, but Kayla Traynor riding with consistency at this point.
Well, Hauer's been pretty good. The net was empty for a second with LaRose out of the crease. Adamson could not shake Keller in time, but Syracuse still working with some good tempo here. They slow it down. Megan Tyrell ignores the screen by her sister Emma. Megan, oh, she nets it! Falling away and tied at 13s.
Just so effortless. It looked like she's just trying to get something off, hoping and praying that something goes in, and just as she's falling backwards, just says a prayer and scores. And coach trainer, yes, cashing it in. It's tied up again at 13. Fourth goal of the third quarter for the team's leading scorer.
Megan Tyrell, professional get-out-of-jail-free card. Katie Cosgrove had her squared up, and Tyrell said, okay, no problem.
Fine, I got it.
The captain, preseason first-team All-American. And Megan Tyrell, her last two goals tied it up at 12 apiece and 13 apiece. Syracuse last led 30 seconds into this game. And Mishewski nearly won it. Jenner just said, I'm bigger. I'm going to take it right from the apex. And that's exactly what she did.
Use that 6'2" height to say, all right, I have the advantage, I know I have the advantage, and just get it out of the air.
Here's a nice move. Kimber Howard the save. Abby Landry has one goal. She was going for a second, and she was in prime position. Hey, say what you want about Kimber Howard. That's her 6th save. She's saving about only 30% of the looks, but she's coming up clutch when she needs to.
That's another big difference here. Kimber Howard has been clutch for this Syracuse team. When Duke is at the doorstep, she answers the door.
Kat Barry on the ride. Remember, she was a 4-year starter in the midfield, so defense is something that she's actually a lot stronger at than maybe any other attack line player that Duke has. Corner, junior midfielder, gives it back to Keller. Shot clock is off.
A stop here would be great for Syracuse going into a quarter where they don't always find success. And for Duke, they remember just last quarter, they scored with 20 seconds left.
Carter finds another cutter. This time it was Landry again. She missed it wide, and it's a foot race. Who got it? It's going back to Syracuse. Unbelievable effort in the corner. And it was Natalie Smith, the sophomore. As Syracuse has 10 seconds. They might not be able to get a good look. They're going to try, though, with Maddie Baxter, the Hail Mary pass. Tyrell has it. 3 seconds left. Oh, wide open. The shot is saved. Sarah Cooper coming from the back. And the Twarton Award watch lister defender had a chance to put Syracuse up 14-13. But a fitting way to end an unbelievable quarter. Hey, we're tied at 13s. This one's getting physical. All you can ask for on a Sunday afternoon. Number 3 Syracuse and number 7 Duke. Don't go to the refrigerator. That's a mistake. Tied at 13, heading into the fourth. It was Megan Tyrell 4 and Duke 1 in that third quarter.
And it's been Megan Tyrell all the way. Coach Kimmel for Duke said, we need to watch out for the Tyrell sisters. Plan A and Plan B. Maybe it's time to switch to Plan B because Megan Tyrell can get whatever she wants. Falling? Sure. Why not? She nets it.
Now, when she's hitting shots like that, you got to go to Plan Z, right? Nothing is working for the Duke defense as of late. And Megan Tyrell playing hero ball for Syracuse. Everything we could have asked for on a Sunday afternoon. 13 apiece. And the Orange bouncing back after a troubling, concerning first quarter. They were outscored 9-2 in the first 15 minutes.
Well, let's go back to Megan Tyrell for a second. She told us the one thing she learned from these fourth quarter collapses is that the game is not over until it's over. And that's what we're going to see here down the stretch in the final 15.
Syracuse outscored 14-4 in their last 3 fourth quarters. Kayla Trainer is saying that SU's been working on it. They've been repping it in practice, throwing on the scoreboard and putting some 15 minutes, some interesting situations in practice just to replicate the fourth quarter as best they can. But then again, in practice, there's no Maddie Jenner winning the draw control to start the fourth. Maddie Jenner has 2 goals, swiped away. Katie Goodell. So the Orange defense is night and day from where they were in the first quarter. And now Sam Swart clears it out herself. Swart avoids contact. There's a sidewinder. Syracuse leads for the first time since the 30-second mark. Megan Carney puts SU on top.
And Olivia Carter was chasing down Swart. Swart had the ability to realize that there was a woman on, and Carney, the bouncer between the legs.
And you kind of feel like Megan Carney and Syracuse, they need this one. So many fourth quarter collapses, so many fourth quarter goose eggs. Just 5 games into the season, an early diagnosable problem, and it's been the focus all week in practice. And Megan Carney coming off a torn ACL, her left ACL last season here in the Dome against Boston College. Missed out on the Final Four run, missed out on the national championship game, and Megan Carney says she feels great. Sometimes her left ACL actually feels better than her right side. And Syracuse outscoring Duke big time since that 9-2 nightmare of the first quarter. 12-4 run for the Orange. Katie Cosgrove, marked up by Tyrell. So Duke is spending a good amount of time on the correct side of the restraining line in this quarter. The only problem is Kimber Hauer and the Syracuse defense, well, they're playing some of their best lacrosse of the season.
Best lacrosse of the season when it has been needed, when this team was on its heels the whole first quarter. Shorted up almost immediately. Didn't take a halftime break. It just took the first little pause after the first quarter.
Carter answers right back. Lower right corner, and Kimber Hauer couldn't react quick enough.
And just as we were talking about this Syracuse defense struggled to contain Carter, and it was just a sidewinder through a little hole right inside the gap between Hauer and the cage.
Olivia Carter, the junior, stepping up for Duke. Decided in 8th grade, hey, I want to be a Blue Devil. And now, in her junior year against one of the nation's best teams, coming up big. Back to the draw control circle where Duke is nearly doubling up Syracuse 19-10. But then again, SU's been pretty strong in the second half.
And it was more of a problem in the first quarter because the Syracuse defense couldn't do anything to stop Duke. This time, it doesn't matter as much just because Syracuse is getting stopped, so they get more possessions based on that, not off this procedure here.
Well, you're right, Jenna. The draw controls actually belong to Duke in the second half, 5-3. With the first 2 of the fourth quarter going to Duke, and that one going to Syracuse. Emma Tyrell was hit from behind. Katie Keller got her stick in there. Kayla Trainer begging for a yellow card. Looks like Mashevsky was hit hard.
And Mashevsky complaining that she was hit in the face. And Jenner clips her with the side of her stick. Doesn't look like there's any blood coming out of that nose, but still painful plastic to the face.
And Jenner is the strongest player that Duke has. Harris Chuck gets her hands free for a moment. Nice defense by Carter. Megan Carney just scored a couple of minutes ago to put Syracuse on top, and then it was Carter. Megan Carney's been spending most of the day at X. Doesn't matter here. From a tough angle, upper left, and Megan Carney gives Syracuse the lead once again.
The Meg show is on full display in the Dome. Carney just rockets it right over the head of LaRose. Cannot be stopped for the hat trick. Right now, the Meg show leading this team with 4 goals apiece.
Meg Carney. Unbelievable performance. And Carney is the highest IQ player that Syracuse has, according to head coach Kayla Trainer. It doesn't take a genius to realize the impact that she's having so far today. So Mashesky is back in the draw control circle after the hit that she took just a couple minutes ago. Draw control win for the Orange. It's Emma Tyrell with space, finding Megan, sister to sister, and another! Syracuse by 2, Emma to Megan. 16-14 Syracuse.
The difference in this game has been Emma and Megan Tyrell. Oh, and Megan Carney in there as well. But right here you'll see the draw control circle has been different since Emma Tyrell has just corralled all this village, plays it to her sister Megan. It's been every single thing that Syracuse wants to do. Play with the Tyrell sisters, add Megan Carney into the mix. Emily Harris-Chuck has a couple, everything going right for the Orange, and that's why they've been able to overcome a 7-point deficit and come all the way back to now lead this game by 2.
That's the second time today that a Tyrell pass led to a Tyrell goal. And it's the largest lead of the day for SU. And Megan Tyrell flipped some kind of switch at the halftime break. Surged with 4 goals in the third quarter alone. An unbelievable performance by the captain. In her last game, had a season low 1 goal on just 1 shot on goal. And she was quiet, just as she was in the first half, but Syracuse is going to have a hard time winning these kind of games without her. Back to Syracuse. Emma Tyrell had a very slow start in the first half from the wing off the draw, but she's picked it up in the second.
And to me, that's the difference in this game. That's why we are where we're at right now.
Remember, the Orange came into this fourth quarter with, you would think, maybe some tension in their shoulders, knowing that the fourth quarter has not been their friend. 14-4 advantage for their opponents over their last 3 games in the final period. Meg Carney, nifty move, and it's smothered by LaRose. Syracuse still aggressive as Duke clears it. Kat Berry with obstruction. So Berry will park herself on the 8. And a chance to cut the deficit down to 1. Kat Berry, leading point scorer in the nation. Toe-to-toe with Kimber Hauer. And Hauer watches it go off iron. Kat Berry so close yet so far. Berry has 0 points in the second half. Syracuse clears it. Contact with Katie DeSimone, bumping Smith from behind.
Right now, momentum is fully on the orange side, which is something that you probably couldn't say in the last 2 matchups, both holding third quarter leads and watching them dwindle before their eyes heading into overtime. A win against Notre Dame, but a loss, their first loss of the season against Northwestern.
Credit the fight to Syracuse, win or lose. They came back from down 7 against number 7. Baxter has it stopped, and the ball pokes itself right outside that line. Nearly another goal for SU.
Baxter almost had a little bit of help there. It was originally stopped, but then the ricochet, the ball continued to roll, but just stopped just short.
So LaRose might have actually gotten pretty lucky there. He was not able to stick that shot perfectly, and still Baxter comes up empty-handed. Riley Traynor just checked in. She helps Duke on the clear. Maybe no offensive possession more important than this one for the Blue Devils. Syracuse in their backer zone. It's been a different defense from the third quarter on. And Kimber Hauer in the back of the net getting the full nod by Kayla Traynor, the first time that Syracuse is riding with one goalie. Berry has been silent in the second half. Doinked one off iron on her last free position a few minutes ago. Shot clock down to 10. Berry makes a move around the bend. She can't find a cutter. Now it's down to 5. Connor on the 12, needs to get a shot off. No, she doesn't. Shot clock violation. And the Syracuse defense is stifling.
Syracuse defense did a great job of just holding every single player in front of them, stick length away at the furthest. Duke also just took their sweet time in the beginning of that possession, probably wanted to find the best pass possible, but with that, if that pass doesn't open up, you end up with a shot clock violation, and Syracuse gets to continue its momentum here.
Kat Berry threw a stick right into the ribcage of Goodell. That's an easy whistle right in front of the official. It's been an extremely physical game on both sides. And now it's Emma Tyrell. A pass wide intended for Markey by Sam Swart. It's tracked down by Harris-Chuck. Make that Adamson. Here's Harris-Chuck. Finds Carney, and that one way wide right, but Adamson is there. The freshman will resume possession for Syracuse with 18 on the timer. Adamson had it stripped away. Harris-Chuck nearly tracked it down, and LaRose picks up the ground ball in the crease. Sophia LaRose, coming from California, not exactly a hotbed for lacrosse, but she says that actually made her a better goalie because she didn't have defenders that were necessarily accustomed to the game. She had to do a little bit more than she did early on in her Duke career, but she can use as much defense as she can get today against this surging Syracuse offense. And another goal wouldn't hurt either. Maddie Jenner has the size. Sarah Cooper pokes it away. It's Barry inside, high to low, and Barry is shoved from behind. Bianca Chevry is forcing the contact.
It's going to be another free position opportunity for Duke and Barry. Last time she doinks it off the side, and this time she gets tackled from behind, the knees taken out right under her.
Barry hit iron in her last free position. And here, it's all nylon. A one-goal game, and Kat Barry, no, it's disallowed. Barry stepped in the crease, and she is still without a point in the second half. This is the nation's leading point scorer. Syracuse pushing the tempo. And Katie Keller hit Markey from behind. So the last two free position shots for Kat Barry came down to inches off the pipe and then inches on the crease.
It's a game of inches right now as the score is as close as it is. Saw the sigh of relief from Coach Kimmel. I thought that was because, you know, to exhale, the score is now within one, but it was more of an exhale of disappointment.
This is crunch time, and Duke missed out on 2 opportunities from the 8. Those are prime opportunities. I don't know if they would want anyone besides Barry at the 8. How about Megan Carney from point blank? And Syracuse leads by 3. Megan Carney has her fingerprints all over the second half. You can't leave her that open. You're gonna pay. And Sophia LaRose left on an island. Syracuse 17, Duke 14. The final 5 minutes coming up. Crazy to even fathom that Syracuse is in the driver's seat. 5 minutes left in the fourth. 17-14. Jenna, they dug themselves a hole in that first quarter.
And the way they've been able to undig themselves out of the hole has been because of the defense. So much has happened in this game, but first it was an adjustment that was made by Coach Kayla Trainer. We saw it in the first quarter to the rest of the game. They went from a zone defense into man-to-man. So we've seen some lockdown coverage, and that's really been the difference in this game, but also the draw control circle.
Syracuse is edging Duke in the draw control circle 6-5. Caitlin Mishesky has flipped a switch starting in the third quarter, but especially here in the fourth. Maddie Jenner wins that one. Duke with tempo. Kat Barry not wasting any time, and that shot misses way high, way wide. And a free position shot coming up for the Blue Devils, and it's Kat Barry again. Remember, the last 2 free position shots have come down to inches, maybe less, off the pipe, and the last one was inside the crease. 2 shots ago was off the pipe, not that one. Right through the 5-hole, and Kat Barry is keeping it close for Duke.
And Kat Barry brought that ball all the way up, and then a bouncer right off the turf and in. Said, the last 2 have been unfortunate, but I'm gonna make sure I capitalize here to close this gap just a little bit.
So Kat Barry is on the board for the first time in the second half. The grad senior from California, same neck of the woods as Sophia LaRose, the goalie. They both need to step up in the final 5 minutes or so here. Maddie Jenner, Kate Mishesky. It's even in the draw control department in the second half. Tied at 6s. Oh, nice snag by Emma Tyrell.
Plucked it right out of the air. Didn't care about any height difference in that one.
A goal here would be huge. Megan Carney had a goal a few minutes ago before the break. Over to Tyrell. Baxter draws the double. The fourth quarter has not been kind to Syracuse so far this year. Emily Harris-Chuck diving in. She drew some contact, and Sophia LaRose takes it right from her. Harris-Chuck lost her goggles, and LaRose was lost in that scrum, but still came up with the stop.
A lot of physicality that we've seen in this second half. As the game gets closer, that's what happens here.
Every possession is crucial. Eva Greco had a goal early. She's been quiet since. Duke is the best offense in the nation. Jenny, you mentioned that Syracuse switched to man after their backer zone was a little troublesome in the first quarter. That's troublesome for Syracuse too. It's Olivia Carter, the junior, and a one-goal game.
I think right now in that huddle, it's the fourth quarter woes that Syracuse is trying to not remember right now, but Carter with the snipe right past Howard. Howard's been in this game the entire time, which is different for Syracuse. They're rolling with consistency, but Carter got one in the back of the cage.
Okay, so Syracuse leads by 1. 3 minutes left. Top 10 matchup. It's the ACC opener for Duke, and they are not going anywhere. You see that run in the past 97 seconds. What's the key here for the Blue Devils to complete this comeback? Remember, just a couple minutes ago, they were down by 3.
Right now, Duke has a little bit more of the momentum. This game will be decided by who has momentum at the end. So right now, that's Duke. If they maintain that, we got the win at the draw circle to begin with, and that's what they do right there.
Who else? It's Kat Berry. And Keller drew some contact. Jenny Markey, who missed the Binghamton game a couple of games ago, she's still trying to come back for Syracuse at full strength. So important to what they do on both ends. But she bumped Keller.
And what we're seeing with the Jenner and Berry combo, we kind of saw last time again in Northwestern, where it was Gilbert and it was Girardi. One would win the draw controls, one would score the goals.
Syracuse had 4 goals in the past 3 fourth quarters. They have 4 in this one. Carter coming off a goal, gives it to Jenner. DeSimone, she's been pretty quiet. Marked up by Goodale. And it's Berry with 30 seconds on the shot clock. Murders to her right. There's a bouncer. Oh, Hauer stifles. Falling down to the turf. And Kimber Hauer with the biggest save of her young SU career.
Another one off the pipe for Berry. She might have a conversation with that cage on her way out. That's another missed opportunity.
Megan Carney clears it, and a timeout called. Kayla Trainer wants to talk over the next minute 29.
Syracuse has to make a decision if they're going to let the woes of the past become treacherous here.
And Syracuse has some more challenges ahead. Number 13 UVA, number 11 UF on the horizon. The Orange, the toughest schedule in the country, tied with UNC.
I think if you survive this one, you feel like you can do almost anything. Down at 1.92, came all the way back with a dominant 3 quarters after that disastrous first. Still lead by 1 here with 90 left. This 90 right here is going to be the most important for Syracuse, and I would say even Kayla Trainer.
And Duke has a challenge or two ahead as well. Notre Dame is lurking on the road March 26th. But before that, Pittsburgh is still just trying to find their identity, and that's a brand new ACC team, its first season. But Penn from the Ivy League is a force to be reckoned with as well. So both teams, regardless of what happens here today, they're going to be prepared and then some. And you would think this is a matchup that a lot of people would be hoping to see come ACC tournament time or NCAA tournament. This is unbelievable. Syracuse men's lacrosse at 4 o'clock against Hobart. Kraus-Simmons Trophy on the line. They're watching as if they needed any extra motivation. That's a team that's still trying to find their identity under Gary Gate, first-year head coach, SU men's lacrosse legend, and the coach of the women for 14 years. Never got over the hump, never got the national championship. And Syracuse is trying to get one. It starts in ACC play, and this one was so close.
Cadbury, another one against the pipe, and then it was Howard who makes sure it does not go any closer.
Well, that is 2 pipes for Duke in the past few minutes. Game of inches, they're not lying. Kayla Traynor off the timeout, watching on. Emma Tyrell will start. Game clock to shot clock differential of about 20 seconds. Syracuse cannot just burn it out. They can go slow. Emma Tyrell bumped from behind. Play continues. Olivia Adamson. Jenna, a goal here you would think is the nail in the coffin, but Duke is, as well as Syracuse, known to score quickly when they need to. And you never know with Maddie Jenner in the draw control circle.
That's why a goal here would be so important, because this game can turn on its head in the blink of an eye.
Shot clock is down to 10. Emily Harris-Chuck. No space, finds a cutter, it's Sam Swart, nail in the coffin, and Syracuse leads 18-16. That should do it.
With game on the line, 22 seconds left. It's a name we've said before, but maybe hasn't been the most dominant today, but it's been Sam Swart. Right on the opposite side, so the goalie was anticipating an inside shot. She went far post.
Sam Swart off the feed from Harris-Chuck. Emily Harris-Chuck is a top 5 goal scorer in SU history. You've got to respect her, but Swart with goal number 2 on the day. And Syracuse, you would think, is one draw control win from cradling this one out. The Orange were down by 7 after the first quarter.
That should be our ball. Why can you do that?
Kayla Traynor wanted no draw. She thought there was a foul. But nothing against Duke. The Blue Devils still have a punching chance. Contact. And Duke will get possession. The clock is winding though, 10 seconds. It's not enough. Ahead to Barry, there's a shot, and Kimber Howard saves it. That'll do it. Syracuse survives number 7 Duke, 18-16, and the Orange bounce back after a devastating fourth quarter collapse last week and hand Duke their first loss of the season. Unbelievable performance. The Orange were down by 7 after the first quarter. Megan Tyrell, Megan Carney, Emma Tyrell, Emily Harris-Chuck, the usual suspects, getting it done for the Orange. Big thank you to everyone that made this possible. For our director, Scott Hecht, and our producer, Kristen Hennessy. With Jenna Alike, I'm Brad Klein signing off. Syracuse, number 3 in the nation, showing you why. 18-16 your final.